Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and I'm joined by.
Walburn from Tómarúm.
And Brandon Yakubella from Tómarúm as well.
It's great to be chatting to you today. Your new album, Beyond Obsidian Euphoria, is amazing. Can you give us some ideas about the inspirations and influences behind this work of art?
Yeah. So I guess I can go first, and then Brandon, if you want to just add on to it with whatever you want to
Sure.
say. But so Beyond Obsidian Euphoria is it's a concept album about like the healing process from trauma and like psychological damage and all of that stuff. So in that regard, we have a lot of like recurring themes, both musically and lyrically throughout the album that pop up. And then musically, the things that really inspired it were um a lot of the same influences from the first record. So like a lot of like atmospheric black metal like Wolves in the Throne Room and Agalok, a lot of technical death metal like Beyond Creation and Inferi. Some new stuff that kind of came in the fold from my contributions to this record, inspiration wise, would be like the band Died Arc and Shade. They were a big influence on a lot of my riffs. And then some of like the weirder like early 2010s American black metal like Takaria and Odds Manuk, that type of stuff. That was also something that was on my mind a lot while I was writing. And then lyrically, a lot of the inspiration came from um a lot of it is kind of paralleled like a personal growth journey that I've been on the past couple of years. And then there's some of Brandon's like life story in there as well, kind of combining into this like continuously unfolding narrative as we progress through life. So it'll like continue on in the next album and the album after that and so forth and so on. But some of the, I guess, core things that we talk about on this record, um, we talk about psychiatric, like bad reactions to psychiatric meds, identity issues, anxiety, nostalgia, like lack of belonging, a lot of that type of stuff.
That's why I think I've sort of like been really drawn to it because I'm not really like a black metal aficionado at all, and sort of like getting into it, man. I've been listening to it loads. The lyrical theme, yeah, I could sort of it's relatable, yeah, man, it's relatable, yeah, totally. So is that how you feel as well, then, Brandon? Yeah.
Yeah, essentially it's pretty much all of what Kyle said. We, just take a lot of the influence. I mean, Kyle and I kind of have like a parallel growth in terms of what our influences were as in our teenage years and young adult years. So um we kind of just kept that going with this one and kind of upped the ante and just kind of turned all the knobs to 11 for all those influences. It was essentially um, all the atmospheric and kind of folky uh, black metal, riffy black metal kind of stuff. And then yeah, all the prog tech death stuff that we love. That was a lot of my contribution to the record. I love black metal, but my bread and butter generally is a lot of the progressive tech dev stuff. And so, in terms of influences that I brought to the table there, um, a lot of my riffing style, like I love, a lot of that like really chordy, kind of New York style black death metal kind of stuff. So like Artificial Brain, Yellow Eyes, Cast of It, all that kind of stuff. And then in terms of the prog stuff, like there was a lot of Opeth influence too from what we were contributing to the new parts of the record. So and then yeah, just
Enslaved.
piggybacking off of what Kyle, you said enslaved.
Yeah, enslaved and like old Opeth, like
Oh
My Arms and
yeah,
Rivers
yeah.
era, were like super huge for us.
Yeah, we were adding there was a lot of that like Scandinavian like prog. Yeah, we and then yeah, lyrically, just like what Kyle said, we're just continuing the story and then injecting new elements from our lives and things that we go through and kind of putting that through a more like fantastical kind of lens to make it kind of larger than life.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just kind of a lot of like metaphor too. So that's kind of like what inspired the new record is to just make it bigger and more fiery and have those new influences.
Awesome. So what about then release day? Are you planning anything, live stream or anything like that? Is that on the books?
I think we still need to talk about that and see if we're gonna do anything. I know there's the whole Bandcamp listening party thing that's
Right.
been going around, I guess, the past couple years. I've thought about maybe doing something like that, but need to have more of a discussion with the whole gang about it and see what they think. But other than that, we've got some tour dates in the works that should hopefully be announced before the album's out. That'll be like in June, and we've got a really, really sick band that we're going out with, another American black metal band.
Are there plans to come over to Europe with that, or is it mainly just going to be stateside in Canada, I'm guessing?
Uh, it mainly depends on what we get offered. We would love, love, love to come overseas and play in Europe and the UK and everything. But like the upfront financial investment for a tour like that is pretty gigantic. So
Of course.
we're holding out until we get an offer that like we're not going to be super in the red financially on. Like we feel good about like if we put in X amount of money up front to get over there and make this happen, we're going to make that back and not like come
Absolutely.
back broke as hell.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
understand that. And of course, you signed to prosthetic labels. I mean, how have they been with support for you guys?
You've been awesome. So far, this is our second album with Prosthetic. They reached, or Steve, the US label manager, reached out after we put out an EP about 5 years ago, and just took a chance on us. We were a tiny band, like a super tiny band back then that nobody knew about, and we had played like a handful of local shows, and I think we had 3 songs out at the time. And Steve Steve heard us and he took a chance, and like Steve and EJ both just like really, really understand and have a lot of faith in what we're doing, and it's nice to have that level of support and also the freedom to just essentially do whatever we want creatively, and they trust it and they like what we do.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about,
Like I have nothing else to add. That's pretty much it. They're great. Yeah.
that's cool.
They support us, and you know, the fact they took that chance is like really awesome, and we're really appreciative to them.
Awesome. So, what about the album artwork and what formats is the album coming out on? Is it going to be vinyl, basically, more than anything?
It'll be vinyl and then CD and the digital download. And the artwork is done by Maria Popik. She's on Instagram as Cernabog Art. She's
Right.
like Italian or Ukrainian, but lives in Italy, and she's just like a phenomenally talented, like surrealist painter.
Yeah.
She took we had like a rough sketch that we gave her and like some ideas, and she took it and made it just better than we could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal.
it's fantastic. I think it belongs on your wall there, Brandon, framed with the gold disc. Yeah, just there.
Oh, and like the Gothic mirror and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely
yeah.
would work, wouldn't it?
Definitely, definitely. I'm so glad to hear as well that you've not gone down the AI road because a lot of bands seem to be doing that. I know it's like a money option, but it's good to know like you're still using artists and that, which is a positive more than anything. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, we'll
it's
never use AI for anything.
Never.
fantastic. That's good to hear,
Yeah.
man. I
Never ever.
really, yeah. I'm just like I'm an anti Spotify, anti AIME, totally. All right. Um, can people expect from you guys live then? What sort of show do you put on?
I would say from the way that I feel when we play live, obviously I can't say anything from the audience perspective, but for me, when we play live, it's number one, it's insanely fun. I have the time of my life up there playing with Brandon and the rest of the guys, but it's super, super emotionally intense for me, and it's really cathartic, and I can almost like lose myself in the performance and just get totally engrossed in it. It's like the one time in my life where my brain like totally slows down and I'm able to focus on just one thing.
Yeah.
Um, so to me, I feel like to me the live performances are very special. I can't say, or I hope that the audiences feel the same way, but to me it's like a very special, like very important part of Tómarúm.
So
Yeah. I would agree. It kind of transports you to a different place when you're up there and playing music you love with people that you have created it with and care so much about. And my favorite part is obviously doing that, and then also um, it's kind of there's a couple different facets to it. Like um, there's like the up and down in the show where we kind of have quieter moments and we have really intense moments. So we can kind of there's like that ebb and flow of like people can get really into it or they can kind of like just meditate with like a certain like riff for a while or whatever. So I love that aspect of it. It's like very up and down and very cathartic in that way. And then also, I love, I love the idea that, there are people there who haven't heard us before, and there's a potential for them to be like, really wowed by the material, or like they didn't know who we were. Like, because I've had that experience with seeing certain bands before, where I didn't know, what they sounded like or who they were, and being able to kind of like, it's a bit abstract, but being able to kind of give someone that, like, give someone something new,
Yeah.
and see in real time their reaction to your music, is really fun. So I always love seeing people's reactions, like the fans' reactions, or new fans' reactions to the music. Seeing people like get really into it is always really special. So
Brilliant.
I also feel like the energy that at least I feel when we're performing, it's something that's like totally separate from what's on the record. Like you can listen to the record and you can see us live, but it's almost like a completely different experience
Hmm.
both ways. Like to me, it's
yeah,
almost like when we're up there, it feels like the songs are like way more intense live than they are on the record.
yeah, I feel that too. I actually agree with that. There's like I don't know, there's like a
It's like
rawness
almost
to
like
the
it's like this like feral energy that's like coming out between all of us, for
yeah,
lack of a better word.
for certain moments, yeah, certain parts just like hit harder live, So like it's always so fun to figure out what those moments are and then, see them translate into how people feel about the music in real time. I guess that's the magic of playing a show.
Of course. And of course, after the show, do you hang out with the crowd or chill at the merch desk with them?
Yeah, we take turns running merch and chatting it with whoever wants to come up and talk to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I personally like I love doing that. I love talking to people and, selling merch and all that kind of stuff. So love doing that.
Okay. So when you're on the road, who has the most annoying habit?
Most annoying habit. Ooh, that's I've never thought about that. Kyle, what do you think?
I don't know if there's I don't know if anybody in the band has what I would say is an annoying habit, at least from my perspective. Like I work a full-time job remote when we're on the road. So like to me, I feel like that's the annoyance to like everybody else because it's like, okay, there's certain times where I can't help with the driving, I can't help with load in and load out. I just have to be like focused on what I'm doing.
Mhm.
But like in that instance, like I feel like I'm I guess putting a damper on things and like being annoying by people sometimes everybody else having to work around my schedule, but nobody else feels that way. So I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, no,
Other than that, I mean, Matt says a lot of just like dumb joke shit that I
but
also wouldn't say is annoying, but it's like the most psychotic, insane, funny shit that I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, if I had to point to anything, I guess yeah, there wouldn't really be anything that's annoying, but something that's like really like consistent that we all kind of sometimes go like, oh, dude, you're like it's yeah, but in like a good way is Matt's little like weird quips and strange like tangents like that just make no sense. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he
But
sent one to the band chat this morning that had everybody just kind of like bewildered.
that's pretty much the
Aw-
only thing.
Awesome. Okay, then. So black metal then is like often a misunderstood genre of music. What first got you into this side of metal? And what was the first album you ever owned?
Uh, so the album that got me into black metal was Agalloch Marrow of the Spirit back when I was like 14. Just to me, the way that emotion is expressed in black metal is something that like I've never heard like replicated in any other style. And that's what draws me to it first and foremost, just how like raw and human and like meditative a lot of it sounds. When you say first album I ever owned, do you mean like within black metal or just like in
Well,
general?
yeah, well, don't just sort of ruin it and say Madonna or something, but I don't know. Yeah, your first album ever, ever.
I
I
think
mean,
The
I
first
Madonna
might
would be
album
a,
I ever,
I
I
think
the
might
first
Madonna would be
album
a
I
sick
ever
album
owned.
though.
Yeah, that'd be honestly kind of sick. But I think the first album I ever bought was, I think it was Blood Mountain by Mastodon when I was like 9 or 10, was the
Okay.
first one. Black metal, I have no clue what the first one I bought was.
All
There's
right.
like, I started buying records when I was like 15.
Right.
But before that, when I was still buying CDs, I cannot remember what the first like black metal CD I bought was.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Right.
me, I guess, yeah, I don't. For me, buying records is like very special. Like I have to like really, really, really like love it in order to like purchase it and have it like be somewhere in my space or in like my house or wherever I'm at. Um, and like I don't buy a lot of physical records. I also like I buy physical and digital. Um, but or I buy merch to support because I actually prefer to generally actually like wear
Mm,
the like if I like I like actually buying merch and like
okay.
t-shirts and stuff like that more generally, which is I know is a bit strange, but
It's not me,
um
but you should see my cupboard. My girlfriend kicks off all the time. She's like, "What?
uh,
Why have you got all these band shirts? They're so old." She's Ukrainian, actually.
in terms of black metal, I yeah, also I can't I think the first record that I bought that was black metal was like just because I thought it was like cool at the time. It was a Dark Throne record. Um I can't remember what it's called. It was like literally like 15 years ago. It has a gray cover with like mountains on it. Kyle, you probably know what it is. I
I'm
forget.
thinking of Burzum. I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Panzerfaust?
Panzer is it what did you
That
say it
has a
was?
great cover. It might have been
Yeah,
Panzerfaust.
yeah, I think maybe. And so that was like the first one I bought technically, and like I love Earth Throne, but like in terms of the album that really got me like hooked, like it was probably Echoes of Battle by Caladan Brood, and Kyle and I have bonded over that record like over the past 10 years like a billion times. Um, we talk about it a lot. I kind of got into that. Agalloch as well, but it was Pale Folklore at the time, and then Kyle got me back into them and like with other albums and stuff. So it was like yeah, early Agalloch, uh, Caladan Brood, epic, really epic atmospheric black metal, um, Mayhem, like early Mayhem and stuff like that. And yeah, then Arcanum, like Swedish like pagan black metal, like that really in like 2015 when I was in high school, like that really like changed it for me. That really got me into a lot more of the underground kind of rawer stuff. And so yeah, that's kind
That's
of
amazing.
what
All right,
happened.
that's cool. Okay, so going back to the album Beyond Obsidian Euphoria, I'm saying it again. I've got it right. Can you tell us why? Oh, sorry. Can you tell me which track from the album, if I'd never heard of your band before, you would pay me to introduce to you guys, and why?
Uh, I
That's
feel
a
like
difficult question.
there's no two songs on the record that sound alike. Like everything, like there's like a core sound that like unites everything, but they all like it's a really diverse record, so it's hard to just like pick one and be like, this is Tómarúm. I would say so. I'll list two that I think come to mind for me. Would be Shed This Erroneous Skin and then Halcyon Memory, Dreamscapes Across the Blue. Those are the two that to me just feel like they at this point feel like quintessential Tómarúm songs.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. It's like I'm actually gonna God, I'm gonna be so against the grain. I'm gonna give you three. Um, I would say yeah, like tracks 4 and 6, like Kyle said, and then also Shallow Ecstasy, the third track. It has like whenever I play that song or whenever I hear it or anything like that, it kind of transports me back to like the first album too. So but it has that those newer elements to it as well. So yeah, like that like middle kind of section of the record is I think really it's all tone room, but like if you want like the whole kind of scope kind of in one, then yeah, those middle probably those middle tracks.
So I would say top three albums would be Agalloch The Mantle is my number one. Probably number two would be Emperor and the Nightside Eclipse. And then number three would probably be Caladan Brood Echoes of Battle.
Yeah, this is tough. Yeah, so if I had to choose, number one is probably Fragmentary Evidence by Augury from Quebec. That's the album that like changed my life and got me into like extreme metal pretty much. I had been listening to like deathcore and like metalcore and stuff before that, but when I was like in middle school, but then that album like really was like the first prog tech death I ever heard, and that just changed
Right,
for me. So that's probably number one for both musical and nostalgia reasons, and hometown reasons, from Quebec as well, and just
right.
those guys are like heroes to me. So, and then yeah, the other two, trying to keep it well rounded. Let's see. Top three favorite. Well, I'd probably pick Obsidian by Castavit, as well. I mentioned it before. I don't know. There's like a certain type of like chord structure and style in terms of what happens on the guitar intervallically that I really love. It's kind of hard to explain, but that album is essentially like what I like, that type of aesthetic and that type of like chord structure, but the album of that. Like, so that's probably number two. Um, the number three, uh, probably if I had to choose, probably Le Dernier Crépuscule by Cathedalist. Sorry for the insane French there, but
It's good.
it's the last Twilight in English by
Right.
Cathedalist. So it's like, yeah, death metal, black metal, all that, just a good mix in there. I just absolutely love those three records. They've had a huge influence.
Number one, Phil Touga of Catalyst, Worm, First Fragment, a bunch of other bands. He's my number one inspiration as a musician. Just the level of like technical ability and like how prolific he is, all the different projects, and every single project that he has brings something different to the table, and they're all phenomenal. That's something that I really strive for, both in like Tómarúm and other projects.
Right.
Um, Number two, I would say Ivar Bjornsson of Enslaved, and then number three, Sanjay Kumar. He plays in Theory, Wormhole, Equipoise, a couple of other bands. Just the way that or his like particular style of like riffing and soloing and everything is like super unique and like something that's been just like super inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, two out of the three that Kyle mentioned are the exact same, for
Oh, fair
me.
enough.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
yeah,
fine.
no, yeah. Number one, Philippe Tsuga. When I was 14, my uncle sent me like a care package of tech death and stuff from like a local shop, and the Afterthought Ecstasy from First Fragment was in there, and ever since then, Phil became like a hero of mine in terms of like, riffs, shred, phrasing, work ethic, all that kind of stuff. Like what Kyle said. And Kyle and I actually like bonded over that, and that's the reason why, we take that inspiration and kind of do our own thing, with
Right.
that. Um, and yeah, just, I mean, unbelievable amounts of respect and, inspiration for that guy. Um, so next up, Sanjay Kumar as well. When I was maybe in like later high school, like junior, senior year, came across his riffing style and solos and stuff like that, and he's only gotten better, in terms of like carving out his own niche. And yeah, a lot of the chord structures and phrasing and stuff, on the new record and future stuff that we're doing, I'm taking a lot of inspiration from him in terms of riffs and solos, and likewise with Phil, kind of blending those things together. And then third, yeah, that's three favorite musicians. Hmm. Third's a bit harder to nail down. I would probably say probably Michael Ackerfeld,
Okay.
Opeth. Um, yeah, no, probably just because again the riffing style, the emotion, the dynamics, the complexity, uh, the breadth of career that he's had. And so yeah, like I try and kind of, those are probably the three biggest inspirations in terms of what I try and do, like, riff wise and solo wise and stuff. Um, if I had to kind of say that this is my style. It's kind of like a fusion of all that kind of stuff. It's like 80s shred mixed with like, more uh, kind of jazzier, more maybe dissonant or um, suspended chord work. And then yeah, like that more proggy chord progression, acoustic guitar kind of stuff. It's kind of all that blended together. Those three have had a huge, huge impact.
Your three countries you'd love to tour if you could just like you had the money, like fuck it, let's go tomorrow. Which three countries would be the
We're probably gonna have same ones here as well, Kyle. Because
I would say in no particular order, Japan,
yeah,
Iceland, and what would be a third one? Maybe Finland for the third one.
Yeah, Finland, definitely. Fantastic metal
yeah,
scene.
yeah. I would probably say Japan as well. I lived there for 2 years and I
Did
speak
you?
the language, and I went to a bunch of metal shows over there, and I always imagined us, in the future playing some of those same shows with those same, homies over there and stuff. So that's probably number one, connecting with that fan base and stuff. Um, would love to play in the UK. I'm
Mhm.
uh, I'm Scottish, French Canadian, so like
Right.
would love to play in Scotland and also England, Wales, all that kind of stuff. Um, I would say Ireland too, but I know there's like, weird stuff politically there, but I'll say Ireland as well. Love
Some
that
good stuff
whole,
in my country at the minute, man. Anyway, we won't go
but
down that road. Right, so
no, love all
which
that, love that whole like chain of islands. Really want to play there. Gorgeous. Have some
yeah,
heritage there. And then for the third one, probably, hmm, yeah, I guess probably Italy because I'm also half Italian. I would love to play in Italy as well, just for the culture as well.
sure.
And then, honorary mentions, Scandinavia, obviously, like Kyle said, Finland, Norway, Sweden.
Amazing. All right. So you're right mixture like me then. Yeah, totally. All right. So you got a bit of Scotch, a bit of any pair. That's amazing. Right, man. So which musician then would you have in your car for a 24-hour road trip?
Uh, for me, I feel like the obvious answer is the rapper RXK Nephew. That dude, he puts out like the most psychotic, like 12-minute stream of consciousness songs. Like he
Okay.
just put out a 12-minute song called The Truth the other day that was just like total nonsense, but it was like some of the funniest shit I had ever heard in my life. I would probably say him because that would probably be a day that I never forgot.
I didn't expect you to say RXK. That's hilarious, but it's on brand for sure. That's hilarious, dude. Oh my God. Um, if I had to choose a musician, hmm, my first thought was actually uh, Frederick Axon from Opeth. That's just the first one that popped in my mind, so I'm gonna go with that, just because of yeah, again, the his lead work and chops, and uh, just pick his brain about yeah, it's just a random choice, but yeah, just pick his brain about like guitar and riffs and stuff. I think it'd be cool.
Amazing. If there was a made up song about your personality, what would it be called?
These are good, dude. These are interesting questions. I've never. This is really good. This is stimulating.
Yeah, I try.
Oh, made up song about my personality. I mean, what would it be called?
Mhm.
You should have given us this question before the interview. We have like a pre-screening,
Well,
so we could think
see,
about it.
I've sorted this all out. This 666 with a musician friend of mine who's in New York, and he said do that. Now I've sort of done that, and I don't know. I just think it's better to just spring it on you. And you're
I
thinking,
guess
and
I
you're like,
I guess yeah. There's like a charm to the spontaneity of it.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I don't know. Personality, I guess I would say like this is gonna sound like so beyond not beyond Obsidian Euphoria, but that too. But hilarious. I don't know. My first thought was like the Oh, it would have to be something to do with like autumn and like cities. Like Kyle knows what I'm talking about because those are like my two favorite like things. Like
Right.
the Autumn City Boy or some shit. I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
don't
cool.
know. So
That's a
I
cool.
love city. I love architecture and like city aesthetics and like
Okay.
minimalist futuristic shit.
Mm,
And I love autumn and orange colors. So I guess
cool.
that'll I don't know. I like associate with that a lot. So I guess that's it.
Okay.
I feel like for me, and this is probably gonna come across as like really, really cringe, but something like Chaotic Hermit or something like that. I like
Oh,
I
that's so
never
good.
I like rarely leave my house. I'm like super,
Okay.
super like introverted and like reclusive. The most I ever leave my house is to go on tour. And then I'm also just like a total mess of a person. So something like that.
That's a cool name. All right, I've only got 5 minutes, so I might have to cut this short a little bit. All right, so the next one, just a quicker question. Do you prefer festivals or small intimate gigs?
Hmm. Well, we've never really done. Well, we've done one festival as Tómarúm. We did Mass Destruction. Unless you guys did stuff while I was in Japan, I can't remember. Did you guys? Did
Yeah, that's
you?
the only one.
Okay, yeah, we did Mass Destruction here in Atlanta as Tómarúm, and then we've also done like a lot of the smaller gigs on tour. So, oh, I don't know. It's more of an experience thing. If I had to choose based on experience, I'd probably say the smaller gigs because that's just what we're used to. But
Yeah.
honestly, the charm and like the feel of doing those huge like bigger gigs like until we get to that point, I mean, it's like a huge dream to like do more of those festivals and stuff. So, um, yeah, hopefully that kind of answers the question.
It sort of
I
does,
would
yeah. That's
say
cool.
they each have their pros. Like we did do, I guess, like a bigger tour. We went on tour with Inferi and First Fragment back in 2023. And those were like the biggest shows that we've played together as a band. And those were like fucking awesome because like the energy was great, all the venues were packed and everything. That was really awesome to see and experience. But at the same time, some of those like smaller club shows, like we've also played headliners where we're playing to like a packed like 100 cap room that looks like a hallway. And the energy of those is something that you just can't really describe. It's just like insane. There's this one venue in St. Louis called the
Yeah,
Sinkhole
I was gonna
that's
mention the
essentially like
sinkhole. Yeah,
it's essentially just like a hallway. It's like a
Right.
super DIY venue. There's no stage or anything, so you're like on the floor at the same level as the crowd.
Yeah.
And when we played there, it was like so packed that you can't even move. And the energy in the room that night was just like through the roof.
dude, I just got
I really
chills.
love
Like
those experiences.
I just got chills like all over. Yeah, there's pros to both. Like the small intimate ones, the energy is just insane. But then those bigger ones, it's just like again, it's like larger than life. It's like you get to make so many fans and play to so many people, and it's so fun. So yeah, watch Seb
Watch
six six
Seb
six.
666.
It'll rock your world.
It'll rock your world.
Can you tell us why we should check out the album? And do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners?
I guess why people should check out the album. I feel like it's I feel like we made a really powerful emotional piece of music that we all feel is really unique and really special. Last words for the fans. We hope you enjoy the record. We hope you stay along for the ride for the next couple albums that we're working on. And tour dates are coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Kyle said, we put a lot of work into the new record. It's Tomaroom, but like at 11, a lot of new kind of curveballs and influences thrown in there. Bit of a different like production choice this time around. So like, hope people can kind of sink their teeth into those kind of different aspects to it. And just yeah, hope you enjoy the record. And yeah, like Kyle said, we're going on tour in June. So stay tuned for that announcement. And thanks for being a fan of our projects and for being a fan of Tome Room.
shame, forsakes the road of spirits. Wait, blind, yea, make the voice of sound. Yea, make this trepidation of this violent death.